Hey you guys, it's Elle and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about some of my top anti-aging techniques for how to apply makeup to really just give yourself a really nice youthful appearance. And actually this is going to be a series where I'm going to show you how to do these different youthful techniques with one palette, just one palette. So you can do all of these looks with just one palette and feel really good about these are really fun, anti-aging, youthful looks. All right, so if you want to know more about that, hit that subscribe button and let's do it. So I took a poll on YouTube a little while ago asking you guys if you wanted to see this series, which is one palette, 5 looks. So it's been taking me a little while because I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my favorite top 5 anti-aging tricks and different looks with one palette. But I also, there's a lot of palettes that I wanted to do this with, and a lot of them that you said you guys wanted to know more about. But I wanted to do something that is new and inexpensive. This is the new Katy Kat palette from CoverGirl. And I have not played around with this palette, but I thought to myself, you know what? I want to use something that is inexpensive, that doesn't have a ton of colors, because we get into these Urban Decay palettes, we get into the Anastasia palettes, and there are so many colors that they can be a little bit confusing. So I wanted to make it a little bit easier. So this palette has several matte shades as well as several shimmery shades. So I thought this would be a great place to start. So we're going to work our way up. We're going to go very kind of subtle to begin with, and then we're going to work our way up to just a little bit more striking. All right, so I already have obviously a lot of my makeup on already because it's really all about the eyes and a few touches like lips and highlighter. So when you are working on aging tips, or when you're like, I just need a revamp, my makeup just needs a revamp, this tip is going to be something that you can absolutely wear on a daily basis, and you guys are going to be blown away about how easy it is. All right, so we are first going to take a little bit of your concealer that you already have on. So I already have concealer on right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit over my eyelids. And the reason why I'm doing it this time is because we're going to concentrate quite a bit of the color around our lash line. This is one of my favorite techniques to do for aging eyes. Reason being is because it gives a lot of definition around the eye and the eye socket, as well as really can be a very easy look to do, okay? And it's really all about another feature. So I am putting my concealer all the way up to the top part of my brow. And then take your favorite translucent setting powder, or any powder you want. I'm just going to be using the Dermablend loose powder in translucent-ish. And then I'm just going to basically set this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take, in this palette, you're going to take this top shade right here. And we want this shade on a tiny little brush. This one is by Pixie. And you don't want to go too crazy with this, but you do want to highlight under the brow ever so softly. You want to take it from the inside of the brow right here and all the way out. And then take your finger and just kind of blend this out. I don't always use a shimmery kind of highlighter under the brow bone, but sometimes it's nice when we're doing a look like we're going to be doing today. All right, and what that's going to do, that's one of my favorite things to do, is highlight the under eye. It automatically gives that eye a lift, okay? And it's going to be good for everyone to do. Now, you can take any kind of inner water liner, or I like to use Benefit's Highbrow. This is one of my absolute longtime favorites. This is by Anastasia. This is called Eye Base. You can use this as well. This one comes in a couple colors. So if you are deeper skin tone, you can get the number 3. This is the number 1. Maybe I'll use this just because. So what I usually do is I will absolutely highlight under the brow with this sometimes, but I use this on my inner waterline. So I'm just going to do this. So I want to show you the difference between the two eyes. You can really see this one is a lot more open than the other one, and I really like the effect. So this tip is fantastic for anyone that has smaller eye shapes that want to make their eyes look a little bit bigger. Okay, then we're going to take, it's going to be really simple. You guys are going to be just blown away about how pretty and this looks at the end. And I do love this palette because it has pinks and a little bit cooler tones and also has like your brown standard colors. I love it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right into this chocolate brown color right here on the same tiny brush. And I prefer chocolate brown or navy or plum to do this. We're going to line just along that top lash line. And we want to smoke this out by going back and forth motions along this lash line. This is not a smoky eye, but it gives the eye a soft definition. And it's super easy to do. I am going to go almost into the corner of my eye. And again, the brush is going to be essential here, you guys. You can see already how that's framing the eye. And we're just going to kick it up ever so slightly into or in the direction of the crease. Do not pull the color down because that will age the eyes by making the eyes look downturned. And just by having the hint of a shadow of this kind of kicking up is all you need to really give the eye a little bit more of an illusion of a lifted look. All right, so now either use the shadow again or you can use your favorite eyeliner. And I am going to tightline. My eyeliner is in kind of a bronzier color. It's by Hourglass. And I love tightlining for anti-aging the eyes, giving that an anti-aging eye look because it deepens up the lash line, makes your lashes look a little bit more defined, but it also doesn't take up space on your eyelid if you do have kind of more of a smaller eye shape or hooded eyes. But this technique so far, everyone can do no matter what your eye shape is. If you do have a monolid, which is where it has no crease really at all, you can bring this first shade that we did up a little bit higher and it will help to get that definition. All right, so now we're gonna go back into that same color and we're just gonna gently, very minimally, this palette is really pigmented, so just a little bit at a time. You're gonna use a little bit and just start to kind of diffuse this out. My pressure is very gentle. And we're just going back and forth. And I want to connect these pieces on the outside. Because what that will do is that will enhance and reinforce that lifted look. And so for if you get too much product down at first, because right now to me it's actually looking a little bit too dark, I'm going to take my brush with that translucent powder that I used already. And this is a great tip on how to diffuse a little bit of your over-saturation of color. I just love lining the under eyes sometimes with the kind of off-white liner. You don't want to use a white liner on the inside waterline because that is a little dated. But I do love lining the way this is with a little bit of a kind of a diffusion to it where we worked back and forth with our brush because it's still going to give you an outline of liner, but it won't be so harsh because in my opinion, harsh black eyeliner on the bottom and the top will age the eyes a little bit. All right, so curling your lashes is going to be of the utmost importance to really make sure those eyes look open, awake, really defined, and it's going to give you an instant eye lift. Also too, using an eyelash growth serum is going to really help because the longer your lashes are, you put mascara on and it has a tendency to really give that lifted eye look, but also kind of hide any texture or lack thereof of you know, firmness in the eye because it just kind of blends everything out. So in my opinion, curling those lashes is going to be really important. No matter how short your lashes are, curl them. Okay, so look at the difference between this eye and this eye with curled lashes. So, all right, so now that our lashes are curled, using a great lengthening mascara, I absolutely love the new Benefit mascara, Bad Gal Benefit mascara, but I'm just using my Marc Jacobs mascara. Lash Paradise from L'Oreal is very similar to this mascara. So let's talk a little bit about blush. Now, I already have my bronzer on. I really recommend a matte bronzer. Now, of course, you know that I love the Hourglass bronzers. I think they're absolutely stunning. But if we're talking about in general terms, say you have more texture on your skin, you might have fine lines around the eyes. You want to make sure that you limit the amount of shimmer you have going on in this area. So a great way to do that is to use a matte bronzer. My tried and true that I always go back to is the Benefit Hoola. They also have a Benefit Hoola Light for somebody that is a little bit less, that is a little bit fairer than myself. All right, so I already have that on, and then what I'm going to do is I love to apply a little bit of liquid highlighter. Now this one is also by, this is very this is a very drugstore tutorial. This is by L'Oreal. It's Lumi Glow Amore, and it's 507. And I like to use a liquid form or a stick cream form because it just melts into the skin a little bit more easily and it looks more like skin. Now, if you do have fine lines around this area right here, I want you to put your highlighter a little bit lower, or you can completely negate it, and I will show you how to do that on the other side. So I'm just going to take a little bit of highlighter and pop this just up here and press it into the skin. You can pick your favorite highlighter for this. I just like to use liquid. Benefits has a fantastic liquid highlighter that is very pretty. They also have one called What's Up. I mean, so many brands do. Ilia has one if you want one that's a little bit more higher end and completely vegan and cruelty free. But look how pretty that looks. And you notice I put this on before I put my blush on. Now I'm going to show you what else to do. If you have fine lines here and you do not like any shimmer, this is Benefit's Highbrow. This is a matte version. So take your highlighting stick, and I like this one because it's a little bit more of a pinker undertone. You draw your line wherever you want your highlight to be, take your beauty blender and start to tap this in. All right, so I'll show you this side that has a little bit more of a reflective quality to it. And then this side here is so still, so stunning. You'll notice that I actually have a tendency to do this more. And when I highlight somebody of a more mature skin, I have a tendency to do this technique, to be honest with you, almost 95% of the time. But I know not everybody wants a matte highlighter, but look how gorgeous that is. I mean, it's stunning. But I am going to apply the cream, which you can totally do, of the shimmerier highlight on top of this, just so we're even on both sides. All right, so there we go, we're nice and highlighted. I actually, by your recommendation, have found these Milani blushes. They are a beautiful, beautiful blush. I love them for more mature skin. I also love the Hourglass blushes because they have a shift to them. I really love this one by Milani, and this is in Pink Play Rose Color Harmony 01. I absolutely love this. It doesn't have glitter in it, okay, just like the Hourglass ones, but it has a natural shift to it that will be really approachable and beautiful on mature skin, because most mature skin, on average, not always, but most, has a little bit of problem with dehydration. So this is going to give a little bit more life to the skin. So I'm going to take this on my brush, swirl it around, tap off excess. Now this blush placement is going to be important. I am going on the apples of my cheeks, but then I'm going to be sweeping an upward motion on top of that highlighter into the hairline. And the reason being is because we want everything lifted upwards, in my opinion. That's why we put the highlighter here, because remember, highlight brings everything out, so it's going to give you that illusion of having a cheekbone. It's going to be lifted to the lifted on the skin. It's just a really great technique. Again, blush goes a little bit on the apples. My pressure is so light, and then my pressure gets a little bit heavier as I go back towards the hairline. So what I love to do for a little bit more of a youthful look is obviously do something like this with the eyes, where it's just very soft, but then I like to punch the lip up. So if you're afraid of color, this might be a great place to start to step you out of your comfort zone. I really encourage you to step out of your comfort zone, and a great easy place to do that is with the lip. All right, you guys, so here is the lip on. Now, if the lip is too dark for you, please go ahead and get a little bit lighter version of this lip, but What's so striking about this is that the eyes are just softly defined, and the lip is the moment, okay? The lip is the one that's having its day, and it's really fantastic when you're trying to do a little bit more youthful look, is to draw attention to your lips, and specifically something that has a little bit more of a matte texture to it. Now, to make a matte lipstick work, I've talked about this in a video, but put a matte lip balm on underneath and then put a matte lipstick over it. It will really, really help the wear of it, how it feels on you, but these are fantastic. I just started trying these. Really, really comfortable and not overly drying. So this is basically the final look. The only last thing that I would do just to bring this home a little bit is give this a nice spray. If you're not oily, if you are more dry to normal, if you're more dry to normal, go ahead, and this is by Pixie by Petra, this is their Milky Hydrating Mist. Spray that foundation with a little bit of hydrating something, and give a little bit of your glow back into the skin. I almost forgot the best part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same brush, wipe it off, and then I'm going to take the same first color that we used, which is this guy, and I'm going to place it on the inside corner of my eye. Do you see how much that opens up the eye? This is one of those tips that I do on most people, no matter what your age is, because it just looks so beautiful. Unless your eyes are super far apart, this tip is going to be really like eye changing. It's going to be one of those tips that you're like, oh my gosh, why haven't I been doing this? All right, so that is it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please comment below with any other suggestions you have for the rest of the week, and I will see you guys in the next one. Lots of love from me to you. Mwah. Bye, you guys.